Zootopia is our literary criticism project for today by both me, Georgia, and Miley.
Zootopia may be an animated movie designed for children, but it does tackle some real-world problems.
And this is a video that demonstrates all three of the literary criticisms.
People is asking me what I got on.
Is that Mr. Big?
No.
What about him? Is that him?
No.
That's gotta be him.
Stop talking, stop talking, stop talking. Mr. Big, sir, this is a simple Yep, here. This is a simple misunderstanding.
You come here unannounced on the day my daughter is to be married.
Well, actually, we were brought here against our will, so... Point is, I did not know that it was your car, and I certainly did not know about your daughter's wedding.
No. I trusted you, Nikki. I welcomed you into my home. We broke bread together. Grandmama made you a cannoli. And how did you repay my generosity? With a rug made from the butt of a skunk. A skunk butt rug. You disrespected me. You disrespected my... I told you never to show your face here again, but here you are, snooping around with this... What are you? A performer? What's with the costume?
Sir, I am a cop.
Mime? She is a mime. This mime cannot speak. You can't speak if you're a mime.
No, I am a cop. And I'm on the Emmett Otterton case, and my evidence puts him in your car. So intimidate me all you want. I'm going to find out what you did to that otter if it's the last thing I do.
No. Then I have only one request. Say hello to Grandmama. Isom.
Whoa! I didn't see nothing. I'm not saying nothing.
And you never will.
Please! No. If you're mad at me about the rug, I've got more rugs.
Daddy! It's time for our dance! What did we say? No icing anyone at my wedding!
I have to, baby. Daddy has to. Isom.
No.
Wait!
No.
Wait! She's the bunny that saved my life yesterday! From that giant donut!
This bunny?
Yeah! Hi!
Hi. I love your dress.
Thank you.
Put him down. You've done me a great service. I will help you find the otter. I will take your kindness and pay it forward. Otterton is my florist. He's like a part of the family. He had something important he wanted to discuss. That's why I sent that car to pick him up. But he never arrived.
Because he was attacked.
No, he attacked.
Otterton?
Otterton. He went crazy. Ripped up the car, scared my driver half to death, and disappeared into the night.
But he's a sweet little otter.
My child, we may be evolved, but deep down, we are still animals. You want to find Otterton? Talk to the driver.
Social power theory. Our protagonist of Zootopia, Judy Hopps, was born in Bunnyboro to carrot farmers. As a child, she always wanted to be a police officer, but her parents told her that she could not become a police officer and that she should be content and settle to be a carrot farmer. Being told that she could not become a police officer, it made Judy even more determined to become the first bunny cop. She trained harder than any other recruit at the police academy who had an advantage over her. When Judy became a police officer, it was advertised by Mayor Lionheart as his office being great at inclusion for all mammals. Police Chief Bogo also saw Judy as useless and discriminated against her by making her a meter maid. When Judy meets our other main character, Nick Wilde, he does not take her seriously either. He calls her a naive little hick and says that she will give up and go home to be a carrot farmer because being a police officer is too hard for her. Nick Wilde reinforces the idea that you can only be what you are, which is how he was treated his whole life. Nick has been treated as a criminal his whole life and does not believe that he can become better. A continuation of social power theory. Assistant Mayor Dawn Bellwether is treated poorly by Mayor Lionheart. However, she is patient and hardworking, which lands her the position of mayor after Lionheart is arrested for imprisoning mammals who have gone savage, without alerting the public about the possible pandemic, the families of the victims, or even his police force. Lionheart did not care for the citizens of Zootopia, he only cared about staying in power. When Dawn Bellwether became mayor, she used her power to create a racial divide between predators and prey in order to have absolute power. Bellwether used fear to control her citizens, leading them to attack each other and not look into her nefarious deeds. The power given to the mayor of Zootopia is shown to be a corrupting power. However, the mayor is not the only one in the city who has immense power. Mr. Big, who Nick Wilde calls the most feared crime boss in Tundra Town, rules over a crime empire. Mr. Big is an Arctic shrew, a very small rodent, who has polar bears serving him. This shows that Mr. Big has the respect of his polar bear henchmen, who could crush him in their hands. His army of polar bears seems to be the reason that other mammals fear him. Mr. Big was going to kill Nick and Judy, but stopped when he learned that Judy saved his daughter's life. This shows that Mr. Big has strong familiar values and that he uses his power to help his family.
Zootopia also shows and demonstrates feminist theory. It enforces the traditional kind of female roles in society through the character of Judy. Judy being a bunny represents the traditional women's stereotypes. Women are traditionally viewed as like trophy wives and that they have to sit still and look pretty and don't have like as much authority as the men, and bunnies are also kind of cute and small and fluffy and don't have a lot of like muscle or a lot of brawn, so they're kind of similar in that way. And then women are also traditionally seen as helpless damsels in distress, and bunnies are the weak prey animals, so that's kind of the similarity between the two. And they also show feminist theory through how Judy is expected to remain a meter maid. People around town, when she has her meter maid uniform on, they refer to her as a meter maid and call her a meter maid. This is to demean her position as a cop like the rest of her co-workers. They don't refer to her as a normal cop like the rest of her male counterpart co-workers. And then the parents are happiest when Judy's saying that she's a meter maid because it's the safest kind of division of the cop force, which shows how women are not expected to kind of get their hands dirty or put themselves in risky positions. Zootopia also breaks the traditional female stereotypes and roles. It has strong female leads. Judy and Mayor Bellwether are kind of the characters who do the most in the movie and do the most planning and scheming, while the male characters, Nick and Mayor Lionheart, are the kind of periphery sidekick characters, which were usually the roles taken by women in traditional movies. Judy also works hard despite her situation, which breaks the traditional female roles and stereotypes. She works harder than the larger animals to pass because she has a physical disadvantage. She passes these super physically challenging police academy exams, even though she's smaller and not built the same as the larger animals. And she's also independent and successful, which also breaks the traditional female roles and stereotypes. She becomes a police officer and moves to Zootopia alone. And her carrot pen catches Mayor Bellwether at the end, which shows how she was successful at the end of the movie.
For the critical race theory, Zootopia is built on this image. It's one of the most defining aspects of the story. It's the predators against the prey, and everyone is kind of fighting, and you can see that tension build up throughout the story. Zootopia kind of promotes that idea that the significance of equality and why it is so important to remain to treat everyone with dignity and respect, whether they are predator or prey or any kind of person different than you. Judy Hopps, the main character, and her friend Nick are trying to crack this very difficult case, and it is where 14 mammals go missing, and they are all predators. And there are very underlying, like there's several values that come to light throughout the film, such as determination, hope, respect, and justice. It's loading. Okay, so Nick, who becomes Judy's friend. At first, they're kind of forced friendship, but they truly and genuinely become friends. But as they're kind of growing in their relationship, Judy starts to realize the amount of suffering that Nick has gone throughout his childhood, bullying and hatred, and throughout his adult life. People just naturally assume that because he is a fox, he is going to be dangerous and untrustworthy. As people keep pinning this label on him, he just naturally accepts that he must accept this place in society, that he really is a thief, that he really is a criminal and can't be trusted. So also, as Judy kind of learns about this and begins to understand like the consequences of some of her actions, she realizes that she doesn't have to act to the ways of society. And some of the quotes that kind of refer to this is when Nick says, "Oh, there's a them now." When Judy Hopps says that, unknowingly, she just completely wipes over the fact of equality and moves forward without justice. But then she later turns herself around and helps predators. And near the middle of the film, Nick rebels against the power given to prey and becomes Judy's friend. He becomes a cop. So he really just rebels against the social stereotype that the entire land of Zootopia has given for predators and prey. That predators are evil and can eat prey, and that prey are virtuous and can do no wrong. Also, near the middle of, we're seeing that Assistant Mayor Bellwether is a sheep. So it proves in that aspect that bad people can come from anywhere. They can come from predators, they can come from prey. There's good people in both, but there's also bad people. It proves that any kind of race or species is not genetically bound to evil or bad, which is also used in the critical race theory. Next slide, please. All right, perfect. So furthermore, throughout the film, there's this one saying that is completely used. You'll see it in the songs they use, you'll see it in the different characters, and that phrase is anyone can be anything. This is a false reality that is accepted and taught to the children in the towns, that the fact that all predators grew up out of their evil, savage ways and became better and were virtuous, and except at the same time, they're saying they're making that separation between the prey and the predators, how the predators were bad, but the prey were always good. Also, for example, in the beginning of the movie, Judy Hopps and some of her classmates put together a play for their community about the history of predators and prey. However, although they are completely innocent to their standpoint, it does say on the boxes vicious predators and meek prey, kind of demonstrating this idea that predators are naturally assumed as they grew up from their evil ways. However, prey were always at that pure standpoint, which is very deceiving to the children. And also later on, that idea that anyone can be anything is used by predators as it's used in sarcasm by the predators, but by the prey, anyone can be anything is a motto. It's serious and they mean it, which kind of proves how imbalanced these social ideas were of the time. The fact that predators didn't have what it took. They were naturally too aggressive, according to the prey. And later in the movie, Judy Hopps and her colleague Clawhauser has to move to one of the back rooms because it's not seen as fit to have a predator stand at the front desk. There are small instances throughout the movie that points towards critical race theory. Some of these events include when Judy automatically assumes that Mr. Monches is who is the valet for the car, was responsible for the damage done to the interior of the vehicle, when in reality he was not. It was the otter who had attacked. And also when Judy's parents give her the care package, that also demonstrates the critical race theory. And along the sides of the PowerPoint slide, you can also see the different quotes that demonstrate these ideas. All right, and that is all from Georgia, Miley, and Jane. We hope you enjoyed it, and have a wonderful day, Mr. Racklin. Bye.